BTS gave Suga new life. Before BTS, Suga faced deep struggles. Fans didn't know. In the deafening roar of a sold-out stadium, where thousands of voices scream a single name, there stands a man who once wished for nothing more than silence. We see the lights reflecting off his microphone. We see the global superstar, Yoongi, known to the world as Suga of BTS. But to truly understand the weight of the lyrics he spits with such ferocity, one must look past the glamour of the stage. One must look into the shadows where he lived for years, fighting a war that no one else could see. The story of Suga is not a simple tale of rags to riches. It is a brutal, beautiful documentary of a man who shattered his own body and soul to build a bridge for others to walk on. Long before he was a celebrated producer and rapper, Yoongi was just a boy in Daegu with a burning passion that felt more like a curse than a gift. His journey began in a reality defined by stark choices. As a teenager in the underground rap scene, operating under the name Gloss, he faced a daily dilemma that no child should have to navigate. He had to choose between eating a bowl of noodles or taking the bus home. If he chose the food, he walked for hours. If he chose the bus, he starved. There was no safety net, no guarantee that the music he was making would ever be heard by anyone other than the empty walls of his small studio. He sold his beats for meager sums, sometimes getting scammed by people who took his music and never paid, leaving him with nothing but frustration and an empty stomach. His parents, worried about the instability of an artist's life, initially opposed his dreams. This lack of support created a deep rift, a silence in his home that mirrored the silence in his heart. He was fighting for a dream that the people he loved most could not understand. When he finally moved to Seoul to join Big Hit Entertainment, the struggle did not end. It intensified. He was a trainee, one of many hopefuls in a cramped dormitory, facing an uncertain future. To support himself, because he refused to be a burden to his struggling family, he took a part-time job as a delivery driver. It was a decision that would lead to one of the darkest moments of his life. One rainy evening, while making a delivery, tragedy struck. He was hit by a car. He lay on the wet pavement with a shattered shoulder, the physical pain agonizing, but the psychological terror was far worse. In that moment, lying in the rain, his first thought was not about his health. It was about his debut. He was terrified that if the company found out he was injured, he would be fired. He was scared that his broken shoulder would mean a broken dream. So, he did the only thing he knew how to do. He endured. He picked himself up, hid his injury, and told the company he merely fell down the stairs. For months, he practiced intense choreography with a dislocated shoulder, masking the excruciating pain with sheer willpower. He rapped through the agony, danced through the tears he refused to let fall, and slowly destroyed his body to preserve his chance at a future. It was a sacrifice made in total silence, a testament to a desperation so deep it overrides the instinct for self-preservation. But the physical pain was only one layer of his suffering. Beneath the surface, Yoongi was battling a much more formidable enemy, his own mind. In his solo work released under the alias August D, he bravely peeled back the layers of his idol persona to reveal a history of severe depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and social anxiety. He spoke of days when he couldn't step out of his room, times when the self-hatred was so loud it drowned out the music. He detailed a heartbreaking memory of his parents accompanying him to a psychiatrist, a moment of vulnerability that stripped away all his pride. He admitted to feeling like a monster, wondering if he was the problem. While he was training to be an idol, a profession that demands being the center of attention, he was terrified of people. The irony was cruel. He wanted to be heard, but he was afraid to be seen. He stood on stages pretending to be invincible while feeling like he was crumbling on the inside. Even after BTS achieved monumental success, the darkness did not simply vanish. The higher they climbed, the longer the shadows became. In the group's docu series and memoirs, Suga has been open about the burnout that comes with global fame. He spoke of the shadow that follows the light, the paralyzing fear of falling from such a great height. There were moments, according to his own lyrics and interviews, where he felt like an imposter, wondering if he deserved the adoration of millions when he still felt so broken inside. He once expressed a desire to be born as a rock in his next life, a poignant wish for stillness, for a break from the constant motion and pressure of his existence. It was a cry for peace from a soul that had been running a marathon for years without a finish line. Yet, what makes Suga truly remarkable is not that he suffered, but what he did with that suffering. He chose to turn his pain into medicine. He realized that his story could save others. By releasing music that explicitly detailed his mental health struggles, he broke a massive cultural taboo in an industry that prioritizes perfection. He told his fans, "It's okay to not have a dream." He told them it's okay to be weak, to be sad, to be lost. He became the comfort he never had. Fans and industry insiders often describe him as a tsundere, cold on the outside, but warm on the inside. He is the member who quietly fixes the broken items in the dorm, who silently places a water bottle next to an exhausted member without saying a word. His love is not loud. It is practical and enduring. He produces music not just for charts, but to give a voice to the voiceless. He became a therapist through his lyrics, holding the hands of millions of people he will never meet, telling them that if he could survive the darkness, they can too. In the group's memoir, Beyond the Story, Suga revealed a new dream. He expressed a desire to become a licensed psychological therapist in the future. He wants to help the artists who come after him, to protect them from the same lonely battles he fought. This ambition speaks volumes about his character. After conquering the music world, his ultimate goal is not more fame, but to be a healer. He wants to be the person he needed when he was that boy on the delivery bike in the rain. The respect that Suga commands today is deep and reverent. It is not just for the awards, which are numerous, or the wealth, which is significant. It is for his survival. When fans look at him, they see a man who looked into the abyss and refused to blink. They see the scars of the shoulder surgery he finally underwent years later, a physical reminder of the burden he carried alone. They see a man who walked through the fire of poverty, injury, and depression, and came out the other side not hardened, but softer, kinder, and wiser. As he stands on the stage today, sometimes closing his eyes to let the music wash over him, there is a sense of profound peace. He is no longer the hungry boy in Daegu. He is no longer the terrified trainee hiding a broken shoulder. He is Yoongi, a man who learned to live with his shadows. His journey teaches us that resilience is not about never falling. It is about refusing to stay on the ground. It teaches us that our deepest wounds can become our greatest strengths. When the final note fades and the stadium goes dark, the silence that follows is no longer empty. It is filled with the heavy, silent respect of millions who know that the man standing before them didn't just write history, he survived it. And in that survival, he gave the world the courage to keep breathing.